Shalom. Let me clear my throat. Shalom, shalom. Kol halalim la Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone. And shalom to the prophets of that body, and shalom to the 144,001 May peace and blessings and the spirit of endurance be upon you and your households as we approach the end. You know, we are going home soon. All right. As you're approaching the tail end, things may feel a little tighter here and there. You might get fed up a little bit with certain things. It may feel like Groundhog Day, like that damn movie where things seem the same and you think, oh man, nothing's really happening. Things are happening. The Lord is working, okay? The Lord is working, all right? Okay, so we have the spiritual tools to navigate now in the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Shai. And you guys should be elated. I am. If it wasn't for this truth, boy, man would be finished out here. Brakti Yahweh Bashem Shai, Bashem Rakakadash for this truth and for making us Israelites, man. Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Shai, Bashem Rakakadash. And Brakti Yahweh Bashem Yashai Bashem Rakakadash for his men of the Lord, man, the men of Great Millstone, from our apostles on down, the elders and elder bishops, prophets, man, But anyway, I want to get to focusing on this light affliction that we're going, which may feel heavy duty for a lot of us. But then again, what you got to understand is in how frail, weak chains of darkness bodies that we have, okay, where our angelic spirit is held captive within these chains of darkness, right? We have to go through somewhat of an affliction. Okay, we can't endure what His Majesty Yahweh Shai went through. Okay, He is the only begotten Son of the Most High Yahweh. He's the only begotten Son of the Most High Yahweh, of Anoah Yahweh. Right, His Majesty, Yahweh Shai. Okay, we can't endure what He endured. So the elect, or let's just say right now, the hopeful elect have to go through their trials and tribulations, their aches and pains. Okay, my phone chimed in by that. You can hear it probably. But their aches and pains, their trials and tribulations, they have to go through that mental anguish, the anguish of feeling of betrayal. If your woman has ever stepped down the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yashai by worshipping idols and other gods, didn't we? All right. So we've all experienced it to a certain degree, if not to a certain degree, to a large degree. We've all got our own specific path that we've got to walk and go through because of the sins that we've committed. We're at the tail end and the chains are slowly slipping away. All right, we still got to go through it, but let me just read a scripture. Then I'm gonna play a couple of videos just to give you a little motivation. All right. Where I got my scriptures lined up. Okay, 2 Corinthians 4:17. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. Let me read that again. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. This is just a moment to the Lord, okay? Because as the scriptures say, paraphrasing, one day unto the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yashai is as 1,000 years, right? Paraphrasing. So basically, it's only been 2 days since the Lord has been sacrificed Himself for us, for the elect of Israel, okay? Not the whole world, okay? For you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives, and you Israelite foreigners that might not have the original look, okay? Regardless of what you look like. But the Lord gave Himself up for the elect, whoever they are, across the four corners of the earth, pursuant to Deuteronomy 28, verse 64. Okay? We're scattered to the four corners of the earth, but ground zero is America. Hence the reason why uh, uh, the 12 tribes chart focuses on America, Babylon alone. All right? But the tribes are everywhere. Okay? That one stick, okay, in the book of Ezekiel, I believe. Okay, so for our light affliction is which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. It's just for a moment, it's affliction. All right? It's like a blink of an eye to the Lord. But for us, it seems like ages. Oh man, I'm 47 years old, I'm 48 years old, I'm 49 years old, I'm getting old. My lower back is hurting, you know? I'm always getting aches and pains here and there, my shoulders, my neck, my lower back. I look strong, but I feel weak as hell. You know? We all go through these things. All right? Mental anguish. You're pissed off, you're angry, you know? You hate seeing these devils on the loose. All right? But this is only to purify you, man. Only to, to really appreciate the blessings Yahweh Bashim Yashai is going to give you, man. Okay? Because the Lord did, what did the Lord say? Worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory, man. Okay? That glory is going to be for eternity. You know, Adam, He-Man, Eternia. That's just a bullshit cartoon. When he gets that spiritual power, doesn't he go darker? Because that brown skin, that actually absorbs the sun. All right? Okay? They know that we're going to get that power. That's why they make these movies, these cartoons. Adam, Eternia, He-Man. I have the power. Superman, Kal-El, Jor-El, Hebrew names. Right? You watch part 2. Yeah, Superman part 2, I believe. When that kid falls down the Niagara Falls and he flies down to pick up the kid, get the kid when he's with that bony faced was it Lois Lane, that cigarette smoking bitch. Dumbass gave up his power for that ugly hoe, right? What an idiot. Okay, shouldn't have done that. Period for no damn moment. But anyway, that's a movie, right? But when he flies down and he picks up the kid, what do you hear in the background? Of course he's Jewish. Of course he's Jewish. Why would they make that? Why would they emphasize that so much? Jor-El, Kal-El, Superman, the mantle. Yeah, of course he's a Jew. They're alluding to the Israelites. Okay, one thing they got right. At least they gave Superman dark hair. Well, actually, he's got blue eyes, doesn't he? Okay, at least they gave him dark hair because that yellow hair shit ain't gonna work. Okay, but he's still got leprosy. But they know that the Israelites are going to get that power. They know. Why do you think the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man can do the things they do in these weak, frail bodies, eating all that junk food in the hood? Yeah? Huh? All that poison shit. Seedless fruits. Drinks full of corn syrup and syrupy shit. Sugary shit. Candy. Ding-dongs. Donuts. Eating all that abomination. Shrimp, crab, lobster, but still outperforming these heathens. That lets you know that we are a special people. But how much more the elect? Verse 18, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, which this faggot ass kingdom is temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. A kingdom that's coming, that's eternal. There's not going to be, uh, a huge spiritual or a giant egg timer, for example. Like an egg timer where you're boiling an egg. The sand running through, right? There ain't gonna be no like situation of time like that for us in the kingdom. Okay? That sand ain't gonna ever run out. Okay? You're gonna be forever beautiful, you're gonna be forever tall and handsome. Our women are gonna be forever young and ripe and gorgeous, no gray hairs, you know. You're gonna have all the hairs in the right place, you're gonna have no blemishes, no scars, no pothole, was there no pimple holes, whatever. If you had bad skin when you're younger, for example. Like what's that guy? What's that? Lawrence Fishburne, for example, his holy face, with holes in it, right? You're not gonna have no skin like that. You can have a nice hairline, nice beard line. You're not gonna have crazy hairs growing in crazy parts of the body. You're gonna have everything in the right place where it's supposed to be. Your weight's gonna be distributed all over your body in the correct proportion. You know what I mean? You're gonna look good. You're gonna be tall. You're gonna be handsome. You're gonna have that spiritual power. You're gonna have your tribal look back. Whatever variation the Lord Yahweh shall give you, whatever skin tone, whatever hair texture, because we come in varieties in our looks through the spirit and power of Yahweh shall with each tribe. You're gonna have it back, and our women are gonna be sublime. You see that Northern Kingdom women, Israelite foreigner women. Some is Judite women. You get exceptions here and there. You get fine ass Judite women, man, with a beautiful dark skin tone. They're rocking a fro and they look wicked. They look wicked. You know what I mean? They look boom. You know what I mean? You see that? You think, and how much more in the kingdom? You know? How much more in the kingdom? You see these concubines looking good. How much more the Lord will make them nice for you in the kingdom? Yeah? This spiritual power, able to fly, able to levitate. Okay, I was watching the movie Jumper last night. Able to teleport. You know, to enjoy the earth because we like nature. I like walking in the park. I like seeing the green parrots and parakeets and all these different types of birds. I'm not like one. I'm not one of those guys that knows every single name of a particular bird. All right, so please forgive me if I say it incorrectly or pronounce it incorrectly. I like nature. I like flowers. You know, I like the sun beaming on me, man. You know, when it's a cold day, you stand near the window and the sun's beams on you. You feel like you're being energized. You know, I like nature. Jake likes that. Jake is naturally a caring person. We're going to enjoy the earth, man. It's going to be refreshed. Just think about it, right? It's going to be freaking amazing, all right? That's what I was just showing, going here to see. Listen, man. Oh, Salakia. Listen, man. The Lord hates the heathen nations, pursuant to 2nd Esdras, okay? 54, all right? The other nations are like spit, like a gob. Like when you brush your teeth and you brush your tongue early in the morning and then you spit out that stuff at the back of your throat. That's what these heathen nations are, right? And I'm going to read that scripture in a short moment, right? But the Lord has given these devils, these heathens, these Arabs, these crackers, these other nations, mansions, palm trees, beautiful locations to chill, you know, luxury vehicles, you know. Uh, they've even got the best looking of our women as their concubines, you know. Um, you know, like all these famous female so-called black singers, native Indian singers, Hispanic singers, Latino singers, Italian women singers or whatever. Who do you think they're dealing with in the bedroom? They're dealing with Amalek and Esau. You know, they got our women as concubines. In the kingdom to come, we're going to have their women as concubines. You understand? And the Lord hates these motherfuckers. And look what the Lord's given them. How much more for the people he loves, man? What did the Lord say? He that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. All right. So we're gonna get everything. All right. Let's have a look at this. I'm not gonna play the music. Just look at that. This is nothing. This is all concrete and bricks and shit. In the kingdom, we're gonna have gold and gold floors and precious stones on the walls, and it's gonna be lovely, man. The air is gonna be clean. Imagine drinking real water. What real water tastes like? What real lamb tastes like? What real beef tastes like, man? Real potatoes, real bread. We can't even eat the damn bread in this world, man. Diabetes, sugar, getting fat. You can have it to a certain degree, but if you're a person that really works out a lot, you know, even just having a real meal, drinking real pure clean water, man, that hydrates you. What will that taste like? Real milk, real tomatoes, real lettuce, onions, leeks, cucumbers, ginger. I even think about the simple things, how lovely it'll be. Then we compare it to all the magnificent things. It's gonna be amazing, man. You know, you got to think about it. You might think, oh, I had a really bum meal right now. I had like, I had like, a real nice ribeye steak with the, with a jacket potato with the, with Real butter melting in the potatoes, with green beans or some kind of mixed veg or whatever. I don't, something along those lines. But how much more in the kingdom, knowing that it's not genetically modified, it's not enhanced in any shape or form. It's just naturally, man, the way Yahweh Shemashai wants it to be, right? We don't need to hear what we got to say. This is all visuals. This is visual motivation. Look at that. Look what the heathen has. You got Jake's like Eddie Murphy and Steve Harvey have got all this, but look what they've had to do, and look all the rumors that are out there, or what they have to do to acquire it. Okay, because they've got to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments on the left-hand side to acquire the wealth, what Satan will give them. Well, Eddie Murphy's a talented person. Martin Lawrence is a talented person, right? Chris Tucker's a talented person. George Lopez is a talented person. Jennifer Lopez is a talented person, right? Jake is generally talented, but look at the things that they have to do to acquire it. Okay, I'm not going to go into that, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay, where you got all this wealth and comfort, but then again, you got to, you can't really enjoy it because your spirit is all fucked up because you've done things that you would never imagine doing when you were a young buck looking in the mirror, getting ready to go high school, getting ready to go college, getting ready to go work before you got so-called famous and rich, And here you are, doing those disgusting things, and then you go there back to your mansion, and then you can't even look at yourself in the mirror. You'll be like Nicole Kidman, covering up all the mirrors in the house because all the demons that you see in the mirror are affecting you. And it gets real like that. Let's see what else we can find. $35 million old money. Old money. That's that slave money there. New England estate. $7.65 acres. I mean, look at Boozy Badass. 80 something acres. Yeah, he's making money, got money, but look at the things he's got to do. He can't get to sleep. He looks like a damn badger or a raccoon, you know? Always eating bullshit, always eating shit, you know? Always got heart problems, going to prison. More money, more problems, right? It's not going to end for him. You think he's going to have a lovely ending? It's going to be gruesome. And we'll all more than likely see it. Or we'll find out about it online. We'll see how the Lord will do it. All right? Look at this, man. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Just look at that, man. Imagine coming home from work, right? You park up, you walk in the house, you know? You got several wives, mooching about around the house, keeping it clean or whatever. One of your wives or a couple of your wives are cooking for you. You come home, have a shower, they give you a nice brandy or whatever. You walk around in your robe through that place, sitting next to the streams and the pools and shit. Just imagine, man. Or just imagine just waking up in the morning to that. Esau's in his heaven, man. And how much more when we're in the kingdom? Look at this, man. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's just motivation, man. I'm playing these little shorts. Just see if there's anything else. Anything else cool that we can see? Oh, let's look at this. Look at that. Ain't that beautiful? Pristine and clean. Not a blemish on that building, right? Not a stain, not a bird doo-doo. Just imagine the kingdom, man. Okay. Where is it? Second Ezra 6 verse 54. Let's go here. All right. Okay, so look what the Lord Yahweh Bashim has given the heathen. How much more us in the kingdom, right? Second Ezra 6 verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. Okay, so we all come out of Adam, and also the Lord has differentiated there. We also the people that the Lord has chosen. Who's that? The Israelites, collectively. But this go around, the elect, but it's Israel nonetheless, not you heathen nations. Verse 55, second Ezra verse 55, 655 now. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, because thou madest the world for our sakes. Verse 56, as the Lord made the world for us. That's why these crackers make jokes and make movies, Planet of the Apes. That's basically Planet of the Jakes. They call Jake an ape, right? That's going to be our planet coming. They make derogatory remarks, make movies about us, saying these kinds of stupid things, right? All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord Yahweh Bashem Yashai. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord Yahweh Bashem Yashai, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, right? Other nations, thou hast said that they are nothing. Thou hast said that they are nothing. Let me say that again. Thou hast said that they are nothing. Okay, you other nations are nothing, but be like unto spittle. Okay, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. Let me say that again. And hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. You're not going to give a SHIT about a drop that falls from your water flask, are you? Okay? If you're drinking it and a little bit of water dribbles from the side of your mouth because, you're drinking it in haste, right? And it's a hot day, and a little bit of a water drop falls from the side of your mouth, lands on the floor, right? On the concrete floor, if you're in the park or walking down a pathway or whatever, or on grass, are you going to scramble and scrape to try and get that little bit of water back up? You're not going to give a shit. Say, fuck it. It's nothing. That's what the Lord is saying, comparing that drop to these damn heathens. They're nothing. They spit too. Okay. Verse 57. And now, O Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahshai, behold, these heathen which have ever been reputed as nothing have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. They're ruling over us and effing us up daily. Okay? But that's not forever. Okay? Because our punishment, okay, right? Our time clock is almost punched. Actually, it has been punched. We're just going through the motions now. I hate to say it that way, but we're just going through uh, how the Lord is going to maneuver us until, you know, um, we're just going to go through the motions until the Lord returns. Simple as that. But our punishment is almost up. Okay, we're at the tail end of it. A couple more prophecies to go. All right. Let's go to some more scriptures, man. I read that one. Revelation 22, verses 12 to 14. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. Okay, whatever the Lord has allotted for you to do. Okay, whatever that will be, because Jake being one body, the elect are one body. Okay, every body, every part of the body doesn't have the same office, doesn't have the same. You don't utilize, you don't do the same things with your hand as you would do with your foot. You don't do the same things with your foot as you would do with your mind. Or your nose, or fingers, or your nail. Everything has a purpose. Okay, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. Verse 13, I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Okay? Like in the movie with Tom Cruise, that 2005 movie, what's it called again? War of the Worlds. What do they focus on when the chariots, or when uh, the visitors, I'll call them the visitors, all right, or the angels, let's just say the angels, or the chariots, or the counterpart of the chariots that start coming out of the ground. right? What did they show prior to that happening? All the you know all the all the explosions and all that happening outside. What did they show? They focused the camera right on his on Tom Cruise's watch, Omega. Okay, I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have the right that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. And obviously on this side, you can't keep all the laws, statutes, and commandments, but doesn't mean you disregard them. You do them to the best of your ability. Jake ain't gonna go out and smoke a spliff. Jake ain't gonna go out and deal with a married woman. Jake ain't gonna go and eat no motherfucking pork or lobster or crab, or some bullshit like that. Or deal with his woman when she's on her rag. You know what I mean? You're not gonna do all that. Okay? If it's a Sabbath and you gotta work, you gotta work. But if you can keep it, if you got a day, if you're according to your shift, you got a day off that day, you keep it as spiritual as possible. Okay, the Lord understands we're in captivity because in captivity we don't have no control. When you're not having no control, the powers that be have their own laws that they put in place where you can't do certain things. Okay, you can't do certain things. So keeping the laws on this side is virtually damn near impossible. But you can do the ones that are uh, lawful but not expedient. You can do the ones um, that are expedient. The ones that you can do. Because all things, things that are lawful. You can do the things that are sort of that are easily doable on this side, right? Okay, because we're in captivity and we gotta deal with the bullshit of this world as well. So you gotta do all the things that are expedient. All right. Like you're allowed multiple wives, but if you can't really afford to have 10 wives, there's no point having 10 wives. Have one, just and have concubines on the side that've got their own place and got their own damn job, so you don't have to deal with nothing but them in the bedroom. If you want to do that, of course, as long as they're not taken. Because Jake is not going to deal with. If you're in your right mind, you're not going to deal with a woman, no matter how fine she is, even if she's a heathen. If she's got a man, you can't deal with it. You're gonna find yourself a single woman. So you do what you can on this side. All right. Okay. Um, Lamentations 3 and 25. Let's go to 3 and 24. Lamentations 3 and 24. The Lord Yahweh Bashim Yashai is my portion. Saith my soul, therefore will I hope in him. Okay, we hope in the Lord. Hebrews 11 verse 1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Verse 25. The Lord Yahweh Bashim Yashai is my portion, saith my soul, therefore will I hope in him. Verse 25. The Lord Yahweh Bashim Yashai is good unto them that wait for him, to the soul that seeketh him. Okay, the Lord, if you wait for the Lord, what's the Lord going to give you? Gift after gift after gift after gift, man. More than your heart can imagine. More than your heart can imagine. We can only imagine it through the lens of this world and what we see the rich and famous have, you know, or we can see it through the beautiful lens that Yahweh Shemashai has blessed brother Manatazak of GMS San Francisco makes excellent visuals, man, which are very motivating. But it's going to be way more amazing than that, man. Okay. Verse 26, it is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of. It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yashai. Bashim Kodash. All right. All right. Isaiah 40:31. But they that wait upon the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yashai shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Spiritual power is going to come. Okay. Then the Lord say, is all paraphrasing another scripture, we shall be changed in a blink of an eye. That change is going to come as well, because some of us will get power on this side, But then that great change is going to come when the chariots come up, when the chariots roll up. Let's just say that. When you're beamed up, you're going to be changed, man. You're going to be changed in a blink of an eye. All right, all your problems just gone. All right, take a big sigh of relief then. All right, Psalm 37, verse 5. Commit thy way unto the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. Commit thy way unto the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. Okay, let's go to verse 7. Actually, let's read it all the way. Verse 6. And he shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light, and thy judgment as the noonday. Verse 7. Rest in the Lord Yahweh Shem Yashai, and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. So you don't worry about the so-called rich and famous, okay, or Tom, Dick, and Harry online that are so-called showing what they have, okay, because to acquire it, you've got to do wickedness, okay, because this is Satan's world. So to get what Satan is, to get the riches and the happy and the so-called happiness of this world, you've got to follow the law, statutes, and commandments on the left-hand side. You can't follow Yahweh Hashem Yashai, and the Lord is going to make you a multi-millionaire, and you're going to be living comfort, because this is not our rest. We didn't come here for rest. We came here for punishment, okay, to be purified, okay, to learn good from evil, and then to use that thought process between good and evil, and also being upgraded to use that in the kingdom upon the heathen. All right, you've gone through numerous lifetimes. You've learned good from evil. All right, all that come back to remembrance, and you'll be in the kingdom. Okay, knowing what's right and what's wrong. Okay, and after all the hell that you've caught, now you are resting. Now you are looking good. Now you got that power. Now you got the Lord's statutes, commandments in you. All right. And most importantly, you got the name of Yahweh Shem Shai and the law, statutes, and commandments in you. Okay. And his majesty, which is such a beautiful thing. The Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, is not the Lord, the Most High Yahweh is not angry with us. And we got the Lord, the name of Yahweh Shem Shai always in our heart, mind, and soul, engraved spiritually, man. And Yahweh Shai is there with us, man. We're with the Lord. We're in his kingdom with him, So we're not going to worry about the idiots of this world, man. They do what they've got to do. All right. Verse 8. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. You don't say to yourself, fuck that, man. I'm going to rob a bank. Fuck that shit. No, don't do that. All right. Don't do stupid shit like that. You see a lot of bug outs, man, that are falling by the wayside. Okay. Our elders and apostles and teachers and prophets make videos on them daily. It's a scary thing. Don't do that, man. All right, as Elder Apostle Tass said in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, if you have a job, even if you hate it, stick with it. All right, because it's a means to an end to earn your daily bread. Don't fuck around now, man. Say, I'm gonna find a new job, because this ain't 1995. This ain't 1985. Brakti Yahweh Shem Shai. This ain't that time where jobs, leave one job, you'll find another. Okay, these are real harsh, scarce times, and they're going to get even more scarce. Verse 9. For evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, they shall inherit the earth. This is what we want. For evildoers shall be cut off, okay, but those that wait upon the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, they shall inherit the earth. Okay, so this light affliction is but for a moment, man. That glory that's coming is going to outweigh all the hell that you've gone through. So fret not, Jake, okay? Fret not. For motivation, shit, watch Boozy Badass. Look at his clothes. Look at his, okay, Jake can work hard and buy clothes. That's not an issue, right? But, look at his estate. Look at his his cars. Look at his how he lives. All right, look at the rich and famous. Look at the heathen, the Arabs, the Edomites, the so-called elites of this world. Look at them. Look at their houses. Okay, look at the islands. You know, look at all that. It's motivation for you saying, man, that ain't nothing. In the kingdom, the Lord's gonna bless us way, way, way more. Okay, way, way, way more. Because what they have is nothing. All right, nothing. And the Lord doesn't even give a shit about the heathen. And the 2/3, the Lord doesn't even really care. The Lord's put them in they're in the predicament that they're in. Because they've done what they've done, but it's blood in, blood out. You think you're going to do all that, and then you're going to be beamed into the chariot. Someone like Eddie Murphy doing what he's done, Martin Lawrence done what they've done, whatever, right? All the famous Jakes out there, they're going to be okay. They've lived lovely on this side. They've had, been millionaires and lived in mansions and woke up in silk pajamas and shit, and had waiters and servants and shit, walking around the house, pools and 5-star hotels, $1,000 room night or $2,000 room night or $10,000 room night, whatever. You're gonna have all that, and you're gonna be straight into the chariot. No, it's blood in, blood out. The Lord is gonna take you out a gruesome way, or if you do speak up the truth, the Lord Yahweh Hashem Messiah will make your death a little bit less gruesome, a little less painful, but you'll have to die nonetheless, because you're not gonna make it. You're not going to make it. The heathen that are in America are not going to make it. The heathen that are outside of America, okay? Some of them will make it because we're going to need slaves as well. And there's plenty of slaves in Russia, Eastern Europe, Europe alone, and the UK. All right? So let's read verse 9 again. For evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yashai, they shall inherit the earth. All praises to Yahweh Hashem Yashai, Bashem Rakak Padash, Mawatha Babal, Kwam Yashrala, Shalom.